Oh no, there's nobody appearing on my screen.
Oh,
There you go. Wow,
Oh,
there was a delayed reaction for your reactives popping up. But welcome,
Oogie.
welcome everyone to another fun and exciting session of Nexus Forlorn Legacy. I am the DM of this campaign, Obsidia, and as is tradition, we're going to do round the table introductions before a brief session recap, and we jump right into the business. I also putzed around because I think the me cutting out is a Discord issue, so I turned off some stuff in Discord that the internet said I should. So hopefully my players will be able to hear my long-winded things without telling me that I'm cutting out. So if I am being cut out, they're supposed to tell me.
I'll say in
So
any of the talks that you've had so far, there's been no issues, so I think we're
excellent.
good.
All right, first up we got B.
hello, everyone. My name is Beatrix Bunny. I'm normally a taxidermy jackalope VTuber and sometimes a New Yorker goblin auntie VTuber, but regardless of my shape, I usually focus on roguelikes, digital artwork, and RPGs. Currently, I run a Wild West alt history horror game in the Deadlands system, though that is still on hiatus. It's going to be back soon. Also, hopefully, once my players stop having to go through historic times, uh, I'll be able to start my secondary campaign of fairy tale crime gaze. But I just love games for gaming. It's fantastic. Love being able to actually be players in it too. Uh, and yeah, when I'm here, your family. But also, I am going to be playing Feng-chen Wong, the Hobgoblin Artificer. The pleasure is all yours.
Thank you, B. Next up we got Maris.
Yes, hello, I'm Maris Aurum. I'm a Celestial Dragon VTuber. I specialize in storytelling, book reading streams where we talk about all things literature and media literacy. I also run my own D&D campaign as well called The Trial of Hearts. We play that every other Wednesday on my channel, so if you like uh, romantic fantasy, messy romance, drama, shenanigans, and a dash of political intrigue, definitely check it out. But while I'm here, I play Soleil, the party's hot pink tiefling himbo fey werewolf, and yeah, always a good time playing this stupid man.
Thank you, Maris. Next up, we have Sif.
Hi, it's me, Sif underscore VTuber, living suit of armor. I play art, I do game, not much going on. I may or may not be streaming this week due to familiar matters, but you should come look at me and my Curse of Strahd campaign on my YouTube channel featuring a few of these dorks and a few other lovely people. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Oh, and I'm playing Nafisa, a cute little stone dragon girl with her pet dog that is now a reindeer. I love you guys.
Thank you, Sif. Always happy. Go check out Curse of Strahd. You get Toxic Yaoi, Toxic Yuri. It's got all the toxic relationships amongst the gays. So be sure to go give it a watch. And then finally we have Lily.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Lily. I am an aspiring artist that does a lot of D&D stuff. Um, Drawing characters from both this campaign as well as many of the other ones that I am a part of. And very excited to be here again playing Aurora, who is, as ever, going through it. She is a sheep satyr, scribes wizard. If you're pink, you're kind of a bimbo, whichever way it swings, and really having a good time. So excited to have a rough time tonight, I'm sure.
Okay, yes, thank you, Lily. Yeah, she is going through a rough time. I turned on the echo canceling thing again. Hopefully that makes me sound normal, because I am using my normal microphone. So if I don't sound normal, I'll continue putzing with stuff. But previously on Nexus Forlorn Legacy, our heroes went to go follow up with went to go follow up with Nafisa's older sister Sharit about what was going on, after the arson attack on the Penumbra where Clan Wong-Zuhai resides. She was unaware of the attack and frankly shocked by it. She joined the party as they went to the neighborhood. When they arrived there, they saw the ruins and the bodies that were recovered from the burn site and began their different approaches to learning what went down, as well as what can be done next. Specifically, Feng and Soleil connected with the goblinoid leadership, and learned that this is a part of a progression that some of the noble megacorps of this empire, known as the Coronal Houses, do, where they basically do an ever-escalating series of attacks and arson attacks, in order to basically kick the people who reside in the area out of that area and begin developing it to make condominiums and stuff for gentrification. Nafisa and her sister dealt with the weight of Sharit having seen people that she knew from going to visit their tea house all the time now gone, and she brought a sash that was supposed to be a gift to one of the goblins who resided there, and it was provided to the goblin leadership so that it could be stored with her Rodai, which is kind of like a soul-connected weapon that all goblinoids are given. And freaking Aurora started talking to Nethris about, basically, do these goblins get to go to heaven kind of thing. Basically what happens to their souls now that they're dead. Will they go to their afterlife? And Nethris gave I don't know, probably. It's not really my area of expertise. And the Omega, the everybody's favorite nanomachine swarm, began disassembling various burned out building bits, so that they could begin recovering items and stuff from the ruins. And it caused a bit of a shock as Omega just disintegrates things when they touch them, but they were sure to correct Nafisa's attempt to try and stall them by saying that they were just following Nafisa's advice to help people who were in need. The party then joined up for a more thorough debrief from the goblinoid leadership in the neighborhood clan hall, where they were informed that likely the mercenaries tied to the coronal houses would be launching an attack that night to do maximum damage. And their only hope was to, one, stop their neighborhood from being burned down, and two, if they can capture one of the agent provocateurs involved in the attack, they can use that to expose what's going on, and it would cause enough societal kind of checks and balances for the way these noble houses work. It's very Menza Barazan, where everything's legal until you get caught. And then, it's very frowned upon to get caught. So as long as the clan Wong-Zuhai can be able to catch somebody, they can check this advance at least temporarily. So as the heroes went about preparing the neighborhood, learning the lay of the land, helping coordinate water efforts, when night fell, they began to see smoke, hear gunfire, and began getting attacked by some ne'er-do-wells, some fire ganassi, a very large earth ganassi woman, and several terracotta like temple dogs that were on fire, who began burning the various houses in the area as the party was fighting for their damn lives. So with that, I think we can hop back into the action. So let me drag everybody over here, and then let me switch to the battle map. Okay. Okay. We're here and we're queer, so get used to it.
Yay.
All right, first up we have Omega. Omega is oh, that happens at round 20. Sorry, I was trying to remember when the buildings are going to start burning down. So at Omega's turn, Omega's got these two flaming doggos next to them, and they're going to start murdering things. Omega in this combat is the first time anybody's seen Omega in combat, and they've started turning their body into blades and spikes, and is disintegrating this one temple dog as it hits them every time. And there is not much left to this doggo, and so they're gonna give them another stab, and they hit. You know, the dog only had 3 hit points left, so, or that's an initiative roll. That's not what I wanted to click. Oh, sorry, I didn't scroll down my thing. I didn't scroll down my roll 20. Alright. So that's 10 damage. You see Omega just basically stabs into this topmost temple dog, and the blade arms just go inside of it, and then they pull the dog into their body, and you just see it's like when you put cheese against a cheese grater, except nothing comes out the other side. And the dog is just disintegrated.
Incredible.
All right. Now for the rest of their action, they're going to attack the secondary doggo right below them. And they're going to move in here to get more in the thick of things, the double C thick of things. And so they're going to do another attack on the doggo. That is a miss. And they will do a flurry of blows to try and pull off.
Is that still a miss with the slow?
Oh, yeah, the doggo is slowed. I think that's -2 AC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So that will in fact hit. That's one flurry of blows does not hit. Okay, so 2 hits are going to go off for 8 and 8 into the doggo. So 16. Okay. You see Omega just like, after disintegrating the first dog, Omega basically leaps into the air a few feet off the ground, and their legs, you know, covered in these spikes and stuff, just go through this secondary dog, and they just are starting to stick their arm blades into this dog as they are still inside of it, trying to disintegrate the various parts of it. And the worst part is you can't even feel the pain because it's if the areas never existed. All right, fire turn before living stone. So the topmost is now on. How do I do this? There we go. This bottom left is also on its second full burn. It is halfway put out, but it is still burning through. The top left is also on its second full burn. And then the right side is currently not actively on fire. And then because there are 2 buildings currently actively on fire, everybody will have disadvantage on their attack rolls if they are not fire resistant or not needing to breathe because of smoke inhalation and stuff from everything. The good news is the next person to go is the big Earth Ganassi, terracotta marble woman, who's bleeding oil as she's squeezing Nafisa into, I guess, these big gashed out oily wounds on her from Nafisa's stone axe. And she is going to squeeze Nafisa first for, since I already hit you previously, I just rolled the damage now. 37 bludgeoning damage, Nafisa.
I'm gonna pop like a grape.
Use your reaction thing from Omega.
It's you could use so you do have the Omega reaction, as well as I know you've got your reduced damage Dragonborn / Goliath ability.
I just thought wasn't the Omega thing only for elemental damage, or
No, it's for any damage. It's only one type of damage, and it's changed until the start of your next turn. So.
Oh, okay. I would like to use that for this then.
Okay, so you now have resistance to bludgeoning damage. So you have heavy armor master, right?
Yes. So it's another -3 as well.
Okay, so it drops to 34 and gets halved. So
17.
Yep, 17 bludgeoning damage as you are squeezed by this large stone woman. And then the good news is that she doesn't have fire resist, so she does have disadvantage on this. The bad news is if she misses, you're going to take half damage, as she is about to javelin you into a burning building.
Oh.
She misses, so you'll take half damage, but you are going to be... so the way this plays out is this large stone woman is squeezing Nafisa against her chest, and you feel, your bones popping and stuff, even as Omega's nanomachines are basically causing your body to become more elastic. But you still feel some nice popping and broken flesh and bruises. And then she rips you off with her free hand, and she just throws you into this burning building at the bottom left of the screen. So,
damn, Nafisa gets all the fun with the giant women.
If you put yourself next to the blue one, as you are now in the building, so you take half damage, which will be, this is the base damage plus a certain amount, so 12 plus 5, so that's going to be 17 -3 for your heavy armor, so 14, and then halved to 7 for her missing, and then halved again to 4 for you being resistant to bludgeon damage. And then you're going to take 1d10 fire damage.
Yeah, we're in a building. Yeah.
And you take 5 fire damage. So that second attack did 4 bludgeoning and 5 fire after everything. And you are now currently in a burning building.
God.
Life is pain.
Pain, Pico. And then we will jump to the Arcane Marksman. She is still slowed, tragically. But she is going to try and shoot Omega, since Omega's all up in her grill. So only gets 1 attack, which will hit Omega. And we're going to do a shadow arrow. So let's try and give Omega some blindness. So it's going to be a wisdom saving throw. Thankfully, Omega is technically a monk. Why are that their saving throw? That's probably wrong. I wrote down Omega's having strength dexterity. I'm like, that doesn't sound like monk saving throws.
That actually is correct.
Really? They don't have wisdom as a saving throw?
Nope.
Wow. Learn something new every day.
It's really weird, considering they're a wisdom secondary.
Yeah, you would think that. Good news, B, you're no longer blinded because it's the start of their next turn. For the archer, but they are going to do this plus 2d6 psychic damage for 5, so it's 16. And now I have to check a quick monk roll because I don't know how that works now.
What's the roll?
It's about deflect arrows, and it's like if you're blind.
It's a projectile.
If you're blind, can you still deflect it?
I think you need sight for that.
That's what I'm looking at.
Enough monk.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that she wouldn't have blind sense. Or they wouldn't have blind sense.
Yeah, it's you don't have to see it. It's just when you're hit by an attack.
Monk is so janky.
Monk is a silly place. All right, so let's see if I can reduce this
silly
damage.
warrior.
So it's this plus monk level plus dexterity, so it's plus 10.
Ooh.
Phew, 20.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, you you see that this archer is still slowed, but their solar bow, begins crackling with that same kind of blinding, shadowy energy as she shoots into Omega point blank. As Omega's currently kind of locked in place inside of this wolf, inside of this big dog, and even with that, Omega's still able to, their body kind of spreads open and consumes part of the bolt of energy, but it causes a magical feedback through Omega, and so you see that their eyes, which are like these constant aperture lenses, start staticky, kind of like cyber psychosis-y, as they are now blinded until the start of this archer's next turn. The archer's going to try and not be slow anymore. Nope, still slow. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. All right, Fug, it is your turn.
Okay, I can see again.
You can see clearly now.
Excellent.
You see that one building is fully engulfed in flames and will burn down next turn. Another one is half being put out by various goblinoids trying to drown it in water as Nafisa just flew through it, but it is still on fire.
Okay, so the one that's actively being worked on is the bottom left,
Bottom left,
right?
yeah.
Okay, and... Okay, so let's see. I have... Gosh, now I'm trying to remember.
It's a
feels like
bonus
it's been so
action
long.
to either give yourself advantage on all your attack rolls, or bonus action to get one charge of putting out a fire. 2 charges
And you
puts out a
need-
fire.
Alright. Okay. Alright, let's bonus action try and get the one that's already in the process of being saved. So let's start with that.
Okay, so that will put the fire out. Nafisa, you got flown through this burning building, and as you are lying prone inside the building as it's on fire and stuff, kind of dazed from your whole getting beaten by this Earth Ganassi, you see a bunch of goblins kind of dart in and start soaking this place down with fire hoses. And I will also allow you to not be prone as they kind of help you stand up in the burning building. So
Perfect.
but yeah, the fire is no longer active there, but this building is getting very hollowed out.
And which building was being actively burnt down again? Was it the one on
It-
the upper left?
The top left and bottom left are still on. Okay. Bottom left and top left are on fire. Now that Feng has gone, bottom left is no longer on fire. So only top left is currently on fire.
Alright, bonus action.
It's not your turn. Just
Oh, wait, I'm so sorry, right from the decision. I'm right after Feng, my bad.
That's alright.
yeah.
You can start planning things.
I was doing the Feng is helping you, and I know it wasn't said explicitly when we started this adventure. Started this fight, but is Feng currently wearing her mask?
Or what?
Your mask. Your mask.
You know what? Yeah.
Okay.
I
yeah.
think that would make. I think that would make sense.
Okay. What do you want to do with your main action?
Let's see. Alright. Well, I'm not feeling great about HP right now, but I also don't want to use my turn for that, so... Let's try and get within disadvantage zone for this freaking archer.
Well, you know that I don't do that. I don't impose disadvantage for being in melee with ranged people. That's a both ways thing. That way you can use all your ranged spells and stuff in melee, and the bad guys do the same. But-
Alright, that's fair.
So you don't have to move into melee if you don't want.
All right.
Also, they're already in melee with Omega.
True. Alright. So wait, you don't need like the close range fighting style to attack at point blank with a ranged weapon without disadvantage?
No,
You can just shoot point blank.
I don't even think that's a real fighting style.
It is.
It's a feat.
I know it's a
Continue.
feat, but yeah, you don't need anything like that.
Alright. Okay, let's see. I've got the ability to actually see people. I could try doing that. Is Nafisa visible?
No,
Damn.
she only like there's smoke and stuff all around Afisa because she just got the fire in the building she's in put out.
Just out of range. All right. Let's just try and keep it simple then. I am really fucking sick of this goddamn Hawkeye ass wannabe. So let's just try and beat him senseless.
Okay.
I would love to break a couple of their bones if I could.
Okay.
Nothing fatal, just
Nah, it's Pride Month, bestie. Fucking cripple him.
Are you doing your rocket punch, or are you gonna walk up and bonk him?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can get away with just hitting them. Plus, I also don't want to. I want to try to avoid leaving Aurora too exposed, since I know that she is also very much made of wet tissue paper right now. So yeah, I want to make sure that I am not going too far outside of healing range. I should be able... Yeah, I can hit, so...
Okay.
Keeping her covered, go down there, attack the archer. Come on. Large money, no whammies.
That's a that one.
No. Yeah, it's gonna fail. And come on.
18 will
18.
hit.
Hell yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I would have had to declare using a smite before a smite spell beforehand, right? Yeah. Alright, so let's just go for damage. 13 bludgeoning. Alright, I'll take that. Yep.
It's a hell of a bonk.
I shoot down at the paving stones underneath the archer, and it looks like I miss for a moment, but as I pull it back, my hand flips the tile up to hit them instead.
Gotcha. Yeah, that tile. They're currently slowed, and so that tile just goes straight into their kneecap, and you hear some bone crunching from the impact of it. Because 13 is a hefty amount of damage.
Bestie, you're spoiling me. Letting me do gratuitous harm.
What's the fun of D&D if you can't gratuitously murder someone?
Well, I mean, this is all technically non-lethal damage, since this is technically a melee weapon.
Well, that's up to you if you want it to be non-lethal or not. Omega doesn't do non-lethal, so... Nafisa, you are in a building. It is no longer on fire, and you are no longer prone. Some goblins help you up there. Are you okay?
Nafisa's just going to groan and nod as she like gets up and grabs her axe and just begins sluggishly walking out. As you guys see the smoke and steam dissipate, like this like imposing silhouettes there, and then you just see a crumpled Nafisa with the imprints of like the giant's fists. Then she fucking like Popeye style puts her thumb in her mouth and just fucking reinflates herself.
Really embracing your Luffy arc, aren't you?
I'm silly. She's silly.
She's a silly goose, we know.
I'm gonna great axe their shins.
Okay.
Can't wait for you to take like Rune Knight.
Oh, alright, that's 7 slashing damage.
Okay.
Second, right, I had to roll a concentration on favored foe since I still had that.
Okay.
From
Yeah.
last time.
Make your 2 concentration, 1 for getting squished and 1 for getting slammed through a wall.
Alright, that second one's a failure. That's okay. Alright, I'll just whack him again. It's a 17 hit.
Let me double check. It does hit. It is exactly what you need.
8 more slashing damage,
Just
and then bonus
what I
action.
needed.
I'm gonna use Nyx's reaction on that second hit as well to do the fucking 4 cold damage.
A little
and,
chili con queso.
A little bit of Soleil magic in there, and then Nyx is gonna use her bonus action command Nyx to start putting out the fire in the top left building.
Okay. Indicate that.
It's the idea of Nafisa whacking a giant's shins over and over again.
Yeah, the Nafisa comes striding up and slamming into this giant Earth Ganassi again, and she's just looking down and goes, "Why won't you stay down?"
I want to say the funny lumberjack line. That's it for me, Ops.
Alright, so next up is the Sun Soul. They're currently locked in melee with Omega, unfortunately, because Omega has that 10-foot reach during their transformation mode. They're going to roll to see if they get back some of their abilities. I think they got that one back, but I'm going to roll to see if they get the Sunning Strike back. So they did get their Searing Arc back. They don't have Stunning Strike.
Let's go.
You know, Omega's blind. This monk is going to... Oh, it actually doesn't need to. I forgot monks can cheat. So the Sun Soul is going to use his Sunwalking ability, and so he takes a bonus action Disengage. And he comes sprinting into melee with Aurora and Feng, and he is going to focus fire Aurora because she has a concentration spell up.
That's true.
These are all factual statements, Aurora. This is the world you opened yourself up to.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before... Oh, no, he can't do that because he had a disengage. So you dodged a bullet. Take solace in that.
I would say I did a lot to dodge said bullet.
So he is going to he's gonna be a little tricksy on you, Aurora. He is going to punch you first.
Miss.
Does 12 hit?
It misses.
Alright, then he is going to blast you with Radiant for 15.
That also misses. I have mage armor on.
Oh, what is your AC right now, girl?
16, a big 16.
Okay, you lucky slut. Alright. I see how this is. Wizard cheating hours.
Wait a minute. This is the highest my AC can go.
Yeah, he comes in and like he's seen you, up to the spell, and he is just trying to get in on you, and he's seen this like fact that you guys are like adapting to damage that's being done to you, so he's trying to like cycle it up on you guys. But yeah, what does your mage armor look like, Aurora?
I imagine it's Nethris.
Okay.
Like, it's just essentially just like shadowed resilience.
So
Oh, I thought it was just like fully a butch lesbian showing up.
I mean, it
to,
can be.
Like,
So yeah, as the Sun Soul with all of his glowing radiant tattoos comes up, and he goes in first to punch, and you just see the purple eyes of Nethris flare behind you as a like shadowy clawed arm just like pushes it into the ground, and then he turns that
that's
into
so odd though, because she's absorbing the radiant damage from the monk.
and then he tries to kick and it shoots out a bolt of like his basically his leg starts glowing with raw radiant energy going in, and she just like wraps herself around his leg and snuffs out the light. And that is the monk.
Hell yeah.
That doggo is now dead. It is Aurora's turn.
We can do some multi-purpose Nethersing.
I.
Multi-purpose your lesbian. We'd like to see it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
So
utility
what I'm gonna
lesbian.
do- Yep, that should be perfect.
Okay.
Nethers is going to appear from the origination of that,
Um,
using the manifest mind.
you do clip over Omega's little thingy there.
Do I?
Yeah, it's very
Hold on.
slight, but
Hold on. Oh my god, I thought I drew it correctly.
no, it's
There's
Yeah.
gotta be a way.
yeah, it's this little line right here that crosses Omega.
Hey, that clips into the dog, technically too.
Yeah, that does. It will get the dog and Feng.
Oh shit! There's gotta be a way. No. Okay.
Does it have to be from that point?
I'm trying to draw it to make it work, and it's kind of hard.
You know, I will. Aurora, make an Arcana check. Make an Arcana check.
Ooh.
Wait, this works.
Wait.
This works.
Okay, or that also accomplishes what
Yes.
you want.
Okay. So, Nethris is just going to go off the body, go off of Aurora's body really quickly, and basically manifest right there. Just this black puddle of shadow, probably coming off of the fire, like that is all around. But you just see this one moment of just like this blue tint of energy before like a snap, as a gigantic pulse wave, essentially just from here goes and just fires off into this direction, hitting all three of them with a pseudo cone of cold. This is a cold damage as well.
Okay. What saving throw is it?
I believe it is a con save. Let me press the button.
Ice.
Yes, a con
Pulse
save.
wave. All right. So the living stone. They don't have disadvantage right now. So 17 will succeed.
Yep.
The doggo is going to get a 19 and succeed,
Yep.
and the arcane marksman is going to get a 9 and fail.
Okay. Then it's 21 cold damage
Okay.
to those that fail, 10 to those that don't. And to those that fail, they are also pushed 15 feet away. So he gets like
Okay.
shot.
It was 21 damage, right?
Yes, correct.
And that's only to the ones who fail? I mean, I'm sorry, the pushback is to the ones who fail.
Correct.
And it's
Only
15
a
feet?
pushback. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so you see that that will trigger a 1d10 fire damage to this fire Ganassi.
It counts.
It does count. Oof. They are resistant to it, but that is a 10, so 5. Yeah, as your Nethris puddle of shadow and ice just slams into these people. You see, the big Earth Ganassi woman she's looking real messed up. Between all of Nephisa's hacks and like now the just ice like impaling parts of her that were exposed by Nephisa, she is like barely standing. You see the doggo that Omega is currently inside of some of the fires on it begin to snuff out as icicles, burst through it. But you see this poor arcade marksman, it's as if a single icicle materialized out of the ground and just impales through her and slams her into this building that's still on fire, pinning her in place, before it then melts as the magical energy dissipates. She's looking real startled by that. And
That's bonus action was to manifest Nethros, so that's all I have.
was it to manifest Nethros to put out fire or something else? Sorry.
No.
Oh.
To do the manifest mind, you have to do as a bonus action.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, you hear Nethros, next to you say, "I won't let anybody hurt you. I will do everything I can." Alright. A doggo. The doggo that's Omega is inside of, who is currently slowed. He's gonna roll to see if he gets his fire breath back. He does not. So he's gonna do a little chomp onto our nano swarm. Sweet, a nat one. Super impactful turn from my doggo, who is gonna see if he is no longer slowed. He is still slowed. Soleil, it is your turn.
Cool. So I know there is a doggo right in front of me, but quite frankly, I think seeing this monk speed run up to Aurora and Feng has Soleil kind of alarmed. So make an opportunity attack. He's gonna go right up to this dude up here.
I will say, you technically don't have to do that, because you could move in the square between the two of them if you wanted, but...
Yeah, there's kind of a thing I want to do.
That's fine. I just wanted to...
require me to be within 5 feet of Aurora.
Okay. You're going to get nommed... this is an advantage because he has pack tactics. As he tries to bite you before you leave, but does a 15 hit you?
A 15 will miss because I have a 16 AC while I'm in wolf form. So.
Okay. Then the doggo chomps at your heels, but is unable to grab you.
Alright, I'm gonna take a couple swipes at this dude. Hopefully I hit. 19.
Yep.
Cool, 10 slashing, 5 cold.
Okay.
I do it again. Ooh, 13 probably
Nope,
misses.
that's a miss.
Alright, well, from that first hit, I am going to use my branding ability.
Ooh! Bust out the Bloodhunter abilities.
Yeah! So every time the branded creature deals damage to you, so myself, or a creature I can see within 5 feet. So if he hurts either me or Aurora, he's going to take psychic damage equal to my Hemocraft modifier.
Okay. I'm jiggy with it, as they say on the streets.
And that's not a bonus action, that's just a thing that happens.
Okay.
So for my bonus action, I will have this top left fire put out.
I was really hoping you were just going to go hyphy and just miss out on that. I was really wanting to burn it down some more.
No.
Alright. So yeah, the rest of the goblins and stuff help put out the fire on the top one, because it was just about to burn down. Anything else, Soleil?
That is it.
Okay, the final doggo. The final doggo. Alright, the doggo doesn't get its fire breath back. It is going to run up and try and bite into Soleil some more. Just fuck that guy. 15 misses you right now. God, I'm rolling so badly. You hate to see it. Leave my bad guys alone. Alright!
They're literally gentrifiers.
Technically, these are worse than gentrifiers. These are the people that are working for the gentrifiers. They're class traders. None of the buildings are currently on fire this turn. And you guys get the vibe of this battle is like an example kind of how things are faring across the neighborhood. So you see that apparently the various goblinoid firefighters that were organized and stuff by you guys are really getting a handle on these arson attacks throughout the neighborhood. And there's a lot of smoke and stuff, but there is no current blazes going. But you know, as also evident that 2 of the buildings have nearly burned down, you see a lot of destruction in the overall goblinoid neighborhood. But speaking of destruction, Omega is currently blind. So they are going to be attacking this here doggo they're inside of blindly. So disadvantage, but they have confidence.
D&D is weird sometimes.
Yep. That is a miss. That is a miss. I'm going to flurry of blows. That is a miss. Flurry of blows. That is a miss. 12, 12, 10, 11. You hate to see it. Yeah, the doggo starts like thrashing about as Omega's like still in their like cyberpsychosis disruption, and you see like the dog basically pulls through Omega as they're having a hard time maintaining their body cohesion with this disruption, and so they pull out, and just Omega's like flailing and changing the shape of their arms into various kinds of like serrated and like you know, like one of them's like a chainsaw like motion, but they're unable to actually land any hits on this this dog's hide. The living stone is gonna try and fuck up Nafisa. This thing is not looking hot, but it's still in the fight, so it's gonna try and bonk you, Nafisa. For a 27.
Yes.
And then it's gonna try and punch into you a couple times. Okay, so first we get that 16 halved to 8 because you're still under Omega's power till the start of your turn. Do you want to use your resistance ability, or are you just gonna take it? Sorry.
Well, it's also -3 because of my thing, so that's 13.
Yeah, 13. So it halves to 7, and then.
Yeah, I'll take the 7.
Okay, so you take 7, and then do 2 claw attacks on you. That's 13 that misses, and 19 hits. So that's half 12, so 6 more bludgeoning to you.
I'm gonna stone endurance that.
Okay. Roll your d12.
So it's 15 slashing, -7 makes that 8, -3.
You resist that hit, because it was 7 total damage to you. I mean, 6 total damage. You rolled a 7 on the d12.
Okay. Wait, I thought I only resisted bludgeoning. I'm sorry, Elves.
Oh, it's supposed to be bludgeoning, sorry. All of her attacks are supposed to be bludgeoning. It wasn't.
Okay, so
this is just
no
big
damage
stony
then.
bonks.
Gotcha. So no damage then after the stone's endurance?
Yep. How do you want to manifest your little stone's endurance as this punch to your tummy?
So Nafisa isn't as draconic as some of her, some of the other people of her kind, like Sharit. So in Nafisa's case, she learns it the best way from her dad, and that she just braces her abs, her core as hard as possible. And as she gets hit, there's like no flinch, no reaction, but she has the most pained expression on her face.
You see the these like oily black eyes and stuff, kind of like. You see the big, like, marble eyebrows kind of raise as she punches right into your stomach, and you're entirely unfazed and unmoved back by it.
Just like Papa.
Alright, the Arcane Marksman is currently out of range of Omega, who is blind, is no longer blind because it's the start of the Archer's turn. The archer saw how poorly their attack minus blinding Omega went, so they're gonna try and fuck with Aurora again. Try and stop this fucking slow ability.
Hey.
Aurora. All right. So here we go. Oh, you did it! It's a fucking 9. You hate to see it. What's your DC for your spells?
15.
Damn it! A 14! This fucking archer! God damn it!
He's having a rough go about it. Maybe you should just go unconscious and become our prisoner.
Yeah, you could always surrender.
Yeah, just surrender. Easy.
Consider your life. We do like construction.
Fog, it is your turn.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. I mean, I don't want to move too far away here because I would rather still not be hit by frickin' Portuguese Diace or whatever. So let's see. Let's pivot around. How long does that bonus thing of Soleil's last?
Until I dismiss it, basically.
Okay, well.
But it, only affects Aurora, because she's within 5 feet of me. You unfortunately do not count.
Well. 1, 2, 3.
There you go. There you go.
Wild. Yeah, I would like to continue to try and throw hands. Well, throw hand with the monk here.
Okay.
There's nothing actively burning, right?
Nope, nothing. All the fires have been put out right now.
Alright, so let's do bonus action, getting some spotters or people distracting him to see if I can't get advantage on this.
Okay. The advantage on all your attacks this round.
Yeah. Big number, big number, big number. That's
Nat
a nat 20, baby.
Alright, that is a big number.
Alright, come on.
For 10?
It's something, I'll take it. And I'll do my own flurry of blows. Just
i.e. extra attack? That's a hit.
Dirty 20 for another 8.
Okay. Yeah, the now that all the fires have been put out, some of the various goblinoid enforcers have been able to like come in, and you see the like start shooting at this guy, and as a monk he's trying to like dodge him and deflect the bullets as he's in melee with everybody except for Nafisa right now. And while he's you're just able to get that real solid punch right to his fucking side of his jaw, just dislocating part of his jaw when you hit him with that first hit.
Satisfying.
Anything else?
That's movement, bonus, action, that's everything.
Okay, Nafisa.
Yeah. Wow, it's kind of crazy. Nyx can actually do something this turn.
What? In my D&D game? Is she gonna steal another boss kill from you guys?
We are going to beat the shit out of you, and I'm gonna whack the stone giant again.
Okay.
That misses, right? 15.
Let me double check. I think it's 17, but let me double check.
It's 17, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's 17.
That's a 22 to hit.
That will hit.
That is a 14 slashing. Nyx uses her reaction to add cold. That is 4 more cold damage, and now Nyx, you get to bite the sheet.
Stop! She's already dead.
Hold on, very crucially, would Nyx do non-lethal?
Well,
that's another potential hostage.
So here's how it works. So the Nyx damage is cold and can't be made non-lethal on it. However, I will say for the Nafisa blow, do you want that to be non-lethal?
Oh yeah, if she was going down before the 4 cold damage, like does she go down with or without the cold?
Before it.
Okay, then, the slippery floor.
She had 6 hit
As,
points left.
Okay, well, all the, yeah.
So how do
So limit
you
break.
wish to subdue this large woman?
Yes, a limit
Limit
break.
break non-lethally.
Yes.
Your most epic not lethal.
I'd like to imagine that, like, as Nafisa's swinging to the shins, the giant, like, picks up on this, and then Nafisa and the giant clash, like, the giant has her club swinging at the same time, so they're, like, swinging into each other, clash. As the weapons are being held against each other, Nafisa pushes harder and harder, and then she sees, like, Nyx sneaking up behind, and she shouts out, because, you know, all the greatest fighters call out their finishing moves. She shouts out Zephyr Slip as Nyx freezes the ground under the giant, causing her to lose her footing, and Nafisa's, like, final push with her axe, knocking her over.
Alright, you see her slam into the ground. The ground cracks underneath her because she's a very large, very heavy woman. But her head also crunches with a very sickening sound as it just bounces into the ground as she falls. And her fingers go limp as the club, flops out of her hand. And she is currently unconscious.
Yay!
Rethink your life decisions, and I'm going to go ahead and move up here. And Nyx will join me.
Yep. Is Nyx gonna do an attack this turn?
Well, I mean, I rolled a bite for 15.
Oh, against the doggo? The doggo, I
Yeah.
believe, has 15 AC. Let me check.
Okay.
Yes, the dog has 15 AC.
That is 6 piercing.
Okay. Dog. It's a real dog-eat-dog world if you catch my drift.
Dear.
Okay. Yeah, that was Nafisa the Sun Soul. Let me read how this ability works. We'll see how crafty it can be.
Oh no, she's learning.
Don't punch the sheep.
So that part doesn't matter. Okay. He is going to take a free strike from Soleil and from Feng.
Okay.
So, attack of opportunity.
Yeah, attack of opportunity for Feng and Soleil.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, this guy, now that you've got him like all surrounded, he gets real spry and stuff, and he's just throwing up, elbows and like arm blocks and stuff at your various, mecha fist and claws at him as he weaves around behind Aurora, and she has that moment where, as he's passing behind her, he makes eye contact with her and grins. As he then tries to launch into Aurora again.
Uh-huh.
First with a Fisto. For a 21.
That hits even with shield.
Alrighty. You take 10 bludgeoning. Do you wish to adapt to this attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you take 5 bludgeoning damage as he
Okay.
punches into you, and your body stiffens and becomes more elastic thanks to your nanomachines. And then he follows up with a right hook of glowing energy for a 20. Do you wish to shield?
You do wish to shield that.
Okay. And so Nethris kind of surrounds you with just a cloak of shadow that consumes the light again. And then he smiles as now everybody is in his row, and he claps his hands together and does burning hands to you guys as his bonus action.
Okay.
That's
What a
so
bastard.
rude.
To the 2 people with fire resistance and me.
Yep.
And also that dog.
The dog's immune to fire. He is like made of fire. He is an elemental being.
What a bastard.
Alright, so that is, please make dexterity saving throws, all 3 of you.
16. That's not bad.
Alright.
Dirty 20.
Uh, Feng?
Dirty. Yep, I'm rolling.
All right,
18.
you all take half damage, and then 2 of you take half again. So
Alright.
9 damage, so that's 5 to Aurora,
Yep.
and then it is going to be 3 to Fug and Soleil.
And this dude is gonna take a whopping 3 psychic damage from me.
Okay. How does your blood curse manifest?
Oh, good question. You know, I really like the cold motif, so I'm gonna keep that going. I like to picture, even though it's psychic damage, but we're flavoring this. We're having fun. I really like the idea of like shards of ice like growing out of him, and just like little that cold burning sensation when you're so cold that it like starts to like burn your skin, kind of like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you see some of those crystals like kind of sprout out of his shoulder and stuff, and he kind of grunts in pain from it. Aurora, it is your turn.
I'm gonna just like sort of panicking seeing this person right in front of me. Just quickly paint to the ground the group of flowers and do good ol' wither and bloom on top of myself.
Okay.
So the doggo and them make a con save.
Okay.
They cast this at 3rd level. It didn't do allow the upcast, so let me add a d6 to it. Definitely passes, so the total is 13, so half to 7.
Okay, so the monk takes 7, and the dog's going to take full damage.
Okay. Once again, cold. We're all cold in here.
So what is your blue or your blue wither and bloom like?
I imagine it's just like essentially quickly painting like essentially a sheet of ice below her that like shatters, and then from the sheet of ice that shatters, like just nature energy kind of sprouts up through it from there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to roll my 2d6 plus 4 for the hit dice. Times 2 for the other thing, so that'll be a solid 22 points of healing to me.
Also, do 2 concentration checks for the damage he did to you.
Right. Yes. Good call.
Oh, that slows down.
Yep. Slows down. Yep.
Excellent. So yeah, you feel your connection to that, just temporal like shadow energy dragging these people down just gets severed as you get fucking punched in the face.
Yeah. Then just I don't know if there's actually a way to do this, but I'm gonna have Nethris essentially go, since she was there, she's gonna now manifest directly behind this person to like pseudo cut off retreat.
Okay.
That'll be my bonus action.
Okay. Fire Doggo.
Action pet havers.
Fire Doggo does not get his breath back. Very tragic. He is going to... he's going to bite Nafisa with advantage. Back tactics! Damn it! 13! This is the worst back tactics I've ever had in a combat.
Or maybe you should get a better pack.
Dogs.
Alright, Soleil.
Okie dokie. I think I'm gonna stay put where I am this time, so I can remain within 5 feet of my girls here. And I think I'm going to bonus action clan help and get some advantage on
Okay.
I'm gonna attack the doggo.
Okay, the advantage on all your attack rolls.
Cool.
That's
14.
A miss. 14 is a miss. A 13 and
All
a
right.
26. A 26 is a hit.
Alright. Excellent. Alright, so that's 9 slashing and 6 cold to the doggo.
Okay. 15. The doggo is deadzo. How do you want to do it?
Same as the last one, just like just holding the dog and just ripped in half, cold magic, just ice shards everywhere flying. It's gross.
The only thing that minimizes the grossness is the fact that it is a stone and fire dog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else to lay?
No, that was my action bonus action.
Alright, top of the turn. Omega is back in action. Now that Omega is not blinded, you see their form becomes more definite again, and their eyes refocus. And Omega doesn't really show emotions, but you do see their lenses narrow to near pinpricks as they are going to start attacking this dog. Alrighty. 24. 8, and then nat 1. It's not a disadvantage, but it's still nat 1. So that's gonna be so close. God damn it! All right, they do another failure blows. They're down to one more keep boy. As they will go in. For a 10. All right, that's a miss, and 22 hits. So, with that, you see Omega, their arms go into that chainsaw mode again, as you just see it's basically several serrated ends circling fully around their arms, and they just dive these arms into this dog and just start shredding it from the inside, except nothing pops out when it does this. And then you see them just turn into a big cape, kind of like a cloaker, and just wrap around this thing, and it disappears. So Doggo is gone, and they will walk up next to the arcane marksman, who is now looking very concerned. The Earth Gadasi is unconscious. Marksman. She is going to try and take her chances. She is going to disengage. Oh, that's the wrong kind of thing. She does a cone attack? No, she moves. And she starts trying to run away. So you see her start running to the top of the area, as she kind of looked over at the monk from across the area and goes, "This isn't worth dying for!" And just starts running. Fung, it is your turn.
Okay. Let's see. I don't think I have anything. Actually. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. How far away? You know what? No. I thought for a second, maybe I could do something funny with grease and slip her up, but I don't think it'd be a good idea to use incredibly flammable grease around this group.
Fire, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we put the fires out. It's all good.
Let's see.
Anything?
Yeah, I'm just... Let's see... Fuso would be able to come over here next turn. You know what? Just in case, let's see if this will work. 1, 2, That can be close enough. Okay. They're an archer. I have to imagine that their dex is probably a decent saving throw. So... You know what, fuck it.
Okay.
I'm going to try to... I'm gonna try to cast Levitation on the fleeing archer.
So you're doing a hostile levitate.
Yep.
So a con saving throw.
It's gonna be very funny if it works. And if it doesn't...
16. She resists.
Just met it.
It was close. It was very close.
Oh well.
Yeah, so you try to extend out that energy, and as she is running away, you just see, she's an arcade archer, so she's not just an archer, and you just see her, like, do some, like, hand symbols, and, like, you just see this, like, elemental rune appears on her that just shatters the air energy with her fire energy. Anything else?
Let's see, I don't think that I have anything I can do with a bonus action. You know what, actually, in preparation of someone of probably, I think, Nafisa coming down here, can I just preemptively ready a help?
Your special hobgoblin help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, then yeah, I'll ready a use of the special, the Fey gift help.
Okay. Nafisa, it is your turn. Your archer is running away from you.
Yeah, I believe it's so real. That's like the only place my mind has been on. How hurt is that archer looking, by the way?
The archer is actually doing pretty good. She's at just over half, or just under half health.
Oh wow,
Okay.
what a win.
Well,
Just
you killed all the dogs, so they don't have an easy way of torching buildings anymore. And you dropped the Earth Ganassi.
and it's an arcane archer. I mean, they only get like what, 2 arrows.
Yeah.
That's true.
Thankfully, NPC arcade archers get it they pick one attack a turn.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Alright,
so
I'm buffing
busted.
Adamar.
Let's go! Alright, I'm going to. You know what? We want the 100% clear rate on this. I'm gonna run up and grapple him.
Okay.
Grapple her.
Make a grapple attack.
There's a
22 athletics. Alright. So this is where I pose with my athletics.
Yeah, I think that's
Acrobatics.
athletics.
Or acrobatics and try acrobatics. 22! She's the defender on it, so she's able to knock you aside. So you try and like dive onto her legs, and she is full trying to flee for her life now. And
Okay.
she just like knocks you off balance with her bow as she is trying to keep running. You can do another attack. You could do multiple grapples. It's one
That's
per
true.
attack.
Again, 19.
Another one. I'm like, she just rolled really well. She does not have a lot in her favor for this. 12.
Let's go!
How do you grapple her?
I like the idea of Nafisa running with her great axe like Tade from Dungeon Meshi, where she's like thinking what to do, and then because she's not thinking about it, she just like she gets shoved back the first time, goes back to that state of what do I do, and then just runs and tackles into them, and is just using her combined weight to hold her down.
Excellent.
And you guys don't need Nyx down there, right? You can afford like one hit from that monk, right?
I'm fine.
Okay, Nyx
As
is
long
gonna
as
come up
someone
here. Oh yeah,
Can
yeah,
get
wait, yeah.
advantage. As long as someone can come over to get advantage of the free health, I'm fine.
I believe in Soleil.
Oh,
Probably.
Yeah, I want Soleil to have have another moment. Nyx will come up here and make sure you have the attack of opportunity ready just in case.
Okay. Alright, yeah, you have pinned the archer in place. The monk. First, he's going to roll to see if he gets his sun walking back. He does. He's going to roll to see if he gets his arc strike back. He does. He's going to roll to see if he gets stunning strike back. He does not. But, oops. I exit out. Alright. He is going to... he is going to bonus action disengage, and he is going to full-on dash off the map. He is currently, I'm just going to indicate in case you guys try and pursue him, he is currently 20 feet 20 feet off the map. As, yeah, he got the signal, and he just... You see him, just a burst of fire at his feet as he, like, leaps away from Aurora and Feng before you can get in your swing with your big mecha arm. And he just bounds over, like, this little structure that's connecting these two buildings and just starts sprinting through the alleys. Aurora, it is your turn.
Gonna attempt to... Oh, no, you don't? Can they make a Constitution saving throw against Vortex Warp?
Okay. Look at this little Dunamancy-ass wizard.
This is from Strixhaven, actually.
Alright, con saving throw? 9! Oh, damn it!
Essentially, she's going to quickly draw, essentially, a portal in front of them. And just as they do, as they're running, they just basically run right through it and are right there, right in front of Soleil.
Okay. Let me teleport you, so it's right next to you and Soleil.
Yep.
Okay. So you see this monk is like, he's feeling pretty confident. He's a monk and he's sprinting away. And as he does so, he runs right through that portal in kind of a reverse Wile E. Coyote. And you see him run so fast and so well, and then he's like sprinting as he's like knocks against Aurora, and he's very confused as he looks up at Soleil. Anything else, Aurora?
No, I don't really have bonus action economy, so
Yeah.
That's good for me.
That doggo is dead. Soleil, it is your turn. There's now a monk next to you.
Sick. So first things first, I'm gonna bonus action Blood Curse of Binding this dude.
Okay.
So please make strength saving throw.
Is this, does this have anything to do with the previous, like, thing you cursed him with or whatever?
Nope, this is separate.
Okay, I just wanted to know if they stacked or replaced each other. Alright, time to use his monk strength saving throw, I guess. That's a thing that monks do. 15.
He passes, so nothing happens.
Yep.
Oh well, I tried. Alright, now I'm gonna attack him.
Okay.
25.
This is an important thing for Soleil. Soleil, in your crazed wolf mode, are you doing non-lethal damage?
Oh, ooh.
We already have somebody.
Do what Soleil would do.
Right? We have two people.
Yeah, you actually have two people.
I just want to pitch to Soleil. Whenever the question of lethality comes up, I'd like to imagine that you're looking down on little Blorbo Nafisa.
Well, currently Nafisa is tackling some woman to the ground, so I think truly I don't think he would be thinking about that right now. So this is still gonna be lethal damage.
Okay, do your second attack.
And plus the 4 cold. Oof. And second attack, 14.
Oh, you missed! He's so close. He's so close. You could have murdered him.
I was like, could you have used the goblin assistance for advantage?
He used his bonus action to curse.
I used the bonus action to attempt to curse him.
That's right.
Yeah, it would have had to be like here or here for me to be able to help,
was a bonus
because it's still like 5 feet away.
That's
don't worry.
Don't worry. So Omega walks forward. fresh off of eating another dog, Omega comes like Naruto running forward as their arms grow bigger and bigger into like pendulum blades, and they are going to leap onto this guy. And let's go attack. Nat 20. Oh man,
go.
he had 3 hit points
Oh,
left.
you want to do this?
14 damage. This is where you get the true profound of how fucked up Omega is. So you see Omega come sprinting forward with their arm blades, and they end up like withdrawing them right as they get into like contact with this guy, and instead they hug him from behind. Their arms fuse together around him, and then you see them pull him forward, and Omega's face comes from the back of his head up through his own face as it just is evaporated through them. And suddenly the guy is gone as his hands flop to the ground as the rest of his body has just been disintegrated. And Omega just kind of looks at you guys.
Damn, girl.
And with that, combat is over. You have subdued or slayed everybody that you were engaged with.
Just gonna bring that guy back over to the Goliath in the middle with everyone. If I could bring the ranger back over here, or the archer back. Yeah, you're good, you're good.
And Omega separates their arms again as they look over and they go, "Excellent performance. We subdued all threats."
I mean, I don't really know about subdued. There's like a bunch of like dead bodies. I mean, I got 2 guys.
Technically, there's only 2 dead bodies. 2 of the wolves, 2 of the dogs got eaten, and then the monk got eaten.
I mean, I would count their deaths in spirit. You know, they died here. But yeah, why didn't you guys get anybody?
Oh. I mean, it's kind of... It all worked out.
We were attempting to take them alive. Omega questions.
I mean, we should always be trying to do that, right? But I mean, don't these guys know who's like hiring them? So then, you know, the clans could interrogate them and then find out what the problem is, and you know, bish bash boom, and then you know, maybe these guys could get like a new job at something they're good at. Like, I think that that big stone lady should be good at like building things and not breaking things, you know?
We did not realize we were using non-lethal threat neutralization. We
it's okay.
apologize for our zealousness.
Oh,
It's
that
okay, Meg.
zealousness was sick as fuck.
Is Slay still a dog right now?
He's still a dog.
Yeah, woof echo effect on every word. Oh, Nix, you have a new look now. You are so pretty.
Thank you. I feel very pretty, very fluffy. I'm not used to being fluffy.
It's a nice look. It's a nice feel. You guys can feel it. You guys can feel it. As like Nafisa just holds up Nyx, but like the head is just a fucking deer skull with ice all over it.
And you know, since you described her as she has like hooves right now, you see her doing her little dog dance, but they're little tapping hooves.
I'm sorry, Obs, you cut out.
I was saying there's a little tapping hoof dance because she doesn't have her normal claws.
Just
That's a good look, Nix, and I'm definitely not biased about it.
Mm-hmm.
How are your hooves connected to your body? There's this runs my hand through her spectral part. How?
It feels very cold and kind of wet. You move your hand back and it's got like fucking drool on it, which is very odd.
Sensation.
Fascinating.
We're just gonna walk over to Soleil and just kind of give him a little pat. It's like, I think we got him. You can come back.
You sure?
Yeah. No, I think
Alright.
I think I'm pretty sure. Thank you for come to my side.
Of course. Couldn't let you go getting hurt or nothing.
I'm all right, thank you. I'm just gonna pet his head as the deer skull kind of goes out, or like as his body retracts down.
Time to tear off this fleshy pelt.
as you rip it free back to your base self. The archer is frankly mortified right now as the only conscious bad guy. Thankfully, they didn't see the Sun Soul get eaten, but.
You see what I mean? You guys aren't like good at this. Maybe you should, do something else that isn't harmful to other people's lives. Otherwise, you'll see more of that.
Because her hair is like a volcano fire coming out of it, done like in a ponytail, and you just see the fire goes kind of like cold magma as she kind of is looking at all of you guys, and her current position is like, yeah, totally. I think this is definitely a life-changing event for my career.
Excellent.
Okay.
Then you're more than willing to tell us everything you know in excruciating detail, because I'm sure you have such a wonderful idea of what will happen if you leave any details out.
I mean, shouldn't that Shinin lady be doing that? The leader of the Shadows for the Zuhai clan, or?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah,
But
she seems like she'd be really good at talking.
I would like to know some things as well, in case there's any way that I might help that might otherwise reflect poorly on my family here. I am not quite as bound by the societal expectations. So, if there is anything I can do that may or may not be perhaps less than legal, well, I would certainly like to know.
I will admit I'm not like a terribly high-ranking person in anything, but if there's something you want to know, just to ask.
Start from the beginning, friends, and if you leave something out, well, I think you can use your imagination.
Right.
Who hired you?
Well, I was working through a third-party contracting agent with my team here. Looks at the big guy, a big girl on the ground, and well, the one who escaped, and Omega pipes in and goes, "No one escaped." The archer gulps very deeply. Now putting two and two together, having seen Omega eat the dogs. And we were told that that House Emberwolf needed us to begin cleansing this area of potential asset threats, and that we would receive a substantial amount of compensation for it. And we got a bit of our contract, and we did what we always do, and well, it apparently didn't go necessarily as well here.
What you always do. So you have done this before.
Make an intimidate check. You have advantage because, frankly, she's terrified.
Go.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, she kind of goes, well, not like, we haven't done this like a lot. But, we've been hired by a few of the houses to put our skills to use. The economy is just really in shambles. You gotta find work where you can. I got kids, you know. I gotta put food on the table.
Wonderful. So did all of the people in the house. And I imagine in many of the other places you have visited before. Is this... how much were you paid exactly? What is the going rate for the life of a person?
Well, we don't get paid by the person. We're not assassins. We're not murderers.
Well, you are, but that's beside the point. Let us stay on topic, yes?
Well, my team we got paid 100 Celasti each for this particular job. And you know, Celasti is basically the Solar Empire equivalent of a federal credit. So essentially 100 gold each. Which, in the context of how much you guys have made for your jobs, is kind of a laughable amount.
And now this next question will tell us both an awful lot of just how long you can expect to live after tonight. How much of this ongoing campaign can you and your remaining associate truthfully corroborate in involvement?
Make an insight check. Nat 20,
Nat
okay.
20.
She starts rattling off stuff in rapid succession. She makes significantly larger claims than you can tell that she probably actually was involved in. But she's pretty much willing to tell you just about anything to stay alive with her. And you know, she talks about her wife, who's actually the big Earth Ganassi. And she's like, yeah, you can't kill us. We have our kids and stuff. You just keep everything's okay. We'll tell you anything you need to know. We've been involved in 3 or 4 of these jobs in various parts of the penumbra. We know that House Jade Viper and House Emberwolf have been involved with hiring various contractors like us. Obviously they try to keep things somewhat distant, but if you know, you know. And she definitely makes up some facts about the people who hired them, like having like very obvious house badges or medallions on them and stuff, which you can tell is she's definitely making that up. She's trying to make it sound like she has more support than she does. But yeah, she tells you essentially all she knows, which is a fair extent. There's probably enough here to definitely build the basis of a case that the Dai-yen was telling you. But at the end of the day, this group of people is a lot like you guys, but are significantly cheaper and not working for a dedicated patron. They kind of are just mercenaries, but this is just the way of the world here in Zhuhai.
My thanks. You have been of enormous use. That said, of course, I'm afraid I cannot offer you any sort of guarantee of your well-being. But
she starts sputtering, being like, "But you said."
Oh, I said that I would not do anything. I speak not for my clan. That is up to them.
She starts sobbing. You see, like just bits of little magma starts flowing out of her eyes as she starts just absolutely sobbing.
You said that you had kids, right?
Please don't hurt our kids. Just if you're gonna do something to us, just leave them out of this.
To us, as in, are you all taking care of them, or do you mean?
Well, she
your
said her
part-
wife is the big
her
Earth
wife.
Ganassi woman.
Do they have someone taking care of them right now?
They're just at home. I just please, if you're going to kill us, just don't hurt them.
If something happens to either of you, will there be someone to take care of them? Do you have any other family?
She kind of looks at you, with her eyes, still bubbling with the little magma, and she goes, "If we had resources like that, do you think we would be working jobs like this?"
I'm not so good at the talking and stuff, but if you help Clan Wong-Zuhai, I mean, they're local here. Maybe they could help. We're lucky enough to be sponsored by really powerful people, so maybe if things work out, if you do good with them, maybe they'll do good by you. But here, in case that doesn't come up sooner, you could tell me where they are right now. I could send some money, maybe pay for somebody to help.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
With what?
Make a persuasion with disadvantage.
You got it, Obs. That's
Nat
a natural
1.
one.
Yeah.
Oh.
It checks out. We are not trustworthy. I
Yeah.
got to beat the shit out of her wife.
Feng did, instill the fear of God in her, and Omega did eat one of their teammates. So she goes, "I would never tell you where our kids are." If this ends how it's gonna end, it is what it is, but I will not let you lay a finger on them.
No, we have some standards.
No, I understand. In case you change your mind, I don't know how long we'll stay docked at this port, but we will be under the flag of. Hold on, pulling my notes. I should make a compiled document. Fuck. Captain Storm's night ship. It's a big, scary ship by the name of Dorandal. If there is anything we can do to help, if you truly want to do right by your children, and for all the people my friend here said you hurt, it doesn't have to be hard or harder. And Nafisa will just back up and give her space.
Okay. With that, the various gunfire and stuff begins to stop across the region, and some of the goblinoids kind of approach and make sure you guys are okay and check the damage to the buildings and everything, and look at the two, and they kind of look at you guys. Did you capture these?
Yes, they've proven to be wonderfully cooperative. I'm sure that we can find some manner of compensation for the assisting in the trying of this case.
Well, we'll send them to be more thoroughly interrogated, but thank you all so much for capturing them alive. We've actually been able to get a whole bunch of them throughout the neighborhood.
That's good.
You see a bugbear, a male bugbear, is looking at the burned out buildings and stuff as he comes like running up with a male hobgoblin, and they see one of the buildings that only got partially burned, and they're just weeping tears of joy as you hear them say, "It's like these people, like, they saved our home. They saved our home. Thank you." But with that, the process of cleanup begins, and you guys are given a moment of respite as they take your prisoners away. They have to really get like a shipping truck to put the Earth Ganassi in the back of because she's too fucking heavy to pull. um, but yeah, you guys have a moment to breathe and decide, if there's anything you want to do as the night winds down and the sun begins to rise.
Well, I'm ready to tuck in, but if you all want to continue to help, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing.
I think I'll help. I want to distract myself for a little bit.
I don't do much good for talking and interrogating, so I better put myself where I'm actually useful. And Soleil will also help with the cleanup effort. Do some heavy lifting for
Likewise.
people.
All right. So Aurora goes to Snoozle as everyone else just helps with the cleanup process.
If people are helping, Aurora feels bad.
People.
I'm tired.
I'm just saying, common folk, working class people, and fixing a burnt down neighborhood. I mean, would that go hard as an oil painting or what? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, she's feeling very mixed about art right now in general, but I imagine at least if everybody says that they're gonna help, she's gonna at least offer to do what she can magic wise to do things, since she doesn't have the strength that everybody else has to actually, do real help. So just any sort of mage hand to get things from out of out of tight spaces that can't be reached normally, she'll try and help with that.
Strength is a strong word for what Feng can bring to the table.
She's got levers, pulley systems.
Yeah.
Ingenuity.
Engineering abilities.
Well, Aurora has one thing or two things in her brain, that is art and magic, and nothing else.
But yeah, so you guys do your various efforts to help with the cleanup. It goes well. It's a draining process. Omega just helps evaporate objects that are in the way and stuff to help get people out of buildings, and to be able to also extend out their limbs to to reach into places to get stuff that Aurora can't see. But you guys are able to do a good job for a couple hours working. As the sun starts rising, you do see that there is a group of probably about 24 or so sailors, actually from the Durandal, with Giacomo leading them, as they come up and start the helping cleanup effort. And if you ask Giacomo what the fuck he's doing, he is like, yeah, after everything that happened yesterday, when I saw there were fucking fires happening here, I talked to some of the guys and gals, and thought might as well lend a helping hand.
Thank you, Giacomo.
That's awful good of you.
Thanks.
Besides, they might need some help. Getting everything. Get everything settled, ferrying away things. He kind of chuckles to himself at his own joke. But
there are a few people that, well, I don't know how to exactly describe it, but people that are no longer even really here, that were a part of the enemy, that maybe you could help. I don't know how this works for that.
Kind of, raises an eyebrow at that, his little greenish blue eyebrow, and kind of goes, "That sounds really like philosophical and a bit metaphysical,
Well,
but
it's not really metaphysical or philosophical. It's just that Omega can disintegrate people into nothingness. And I don't know exactly how you ferry nothingness, but I mean, I'm sure they need ferrying in some way, shape, or form.
the sailors take
Yes.
a instinctive step back away from Omega.
It is a rather troubling concept how one, what exactly happens to one's soul in that case. I'm very glad that none of us perished in the initial fight with you, Omega.
Omega goes, yes, despite our best efforts, you were able to avoid that particular scientific exploration. It will have to remain purely hypothetical. Unless... and they just look at you very flatly.
Oh no!
Omega, I don't think that's necessary. I think let's try and keep going on the path of good here.
We were simply testing your limits.
Right.
That was an attempt at humor.
Yeah.
You're making progress in that regard.
You should not be concerned. We already assured you that we would not try and kill you again. We have doubts as to our efficacy in such efforts after failing the first time.
Well, I guess we'll call that a win then.
For now.
I
That was another attempt at humor.
got it that time. That doesn't make me feel much better about the statement.
And just the Omega doesn't, laugh or anything. Just goes back to working. But yeah, so everybody, helping. As around breakfast time comes, you're all pretty exhausted. It's been a draining evening and followed by a lot of manual labor. There are deaths. There's probably a few dozen people who. There's probably about a dozen people who were killed, and then probably a couple hundred who were suffered injuries, burns, battle wounds, etc. from the fair. But all things considered, it's a pretty low body count based on the sheer level of destruction leveled on this neighborhood. About half the neighborhood is basically near burned out buildings, with more minor damage to the rest of them. The clan hall was also hit by the fires, and when you guys kind of meet back up there, you do see that some of the the ceiling to floor tapestries and canvases of art that has been destroyed. Like, maybe not just destroyed is a strong word. Has been seriously damaged. So you see, like, some of these art pieces of the history of the clan stuff have been burned along various parts of it, which is a bit sad in its own right, but it could have been worse.
Is that something that, as someone with Weaver's tools proficiency, I could try to assist in repairing, or is that like long-term art historian kind of stuff?
Yeah, you could fix the canvas, you could fix the tapestry, you could do like mending over time, but it wouldn't put the stuff back on it. So, the Dai-yen, who is a very, very drained looking old goblin at this point, kind of sighs as he sees the destruction, and he says, it's truly a loss to our community to have suffered so much, but we will always survive, and we will gild these burns, and we will add new stories to them. For there is beauty in survival, and there's beauty in life. He kind of sheds a few tears as he stands stoically looking up at them. Let's go with Feng, Soleil, and Soleil make history checks. Aurora, make one with advantage.
That's a 12 for me.
Okay.
17.
Also 17.
Okay. The Feng and Aurora, you both see that near the tops of these tapestries, going back to presumably earlier clan history. Then you do see a partially burned figure, which is non-goblinoid. And the only way you can tell that is because of their hand, because they've got this basically white hand as opposed to green. But they do appear to be a being in very elaborate red, orange, yellow, and black regalia. But the face and half the body has been burned away, and they're standing. And you see some streaks of green sun rays backdropping them. But that's all you can really make out of the burned painting at this point, or the burned weaving. So just something odd you notice.
I'm sorry, but do you have any manner of photographic or illustrative records of what was on this tapestry?
Unfortunately, no. The tapestry was the record.
I don't suppose you have any particular recollection of what this character was to represent, would you?
Kind of squints as he looks up and keeps looking up because he is very short and it's very high up. And he, you kind of direct him to where you're pointing. He goes, I do not know who specifically that character is. I can place that to... It was created presumably around the period of the Desolation, just based on its location and art style. So it's from at least 5 centuries ago.
I see.
What a shame.
I wonder... This was all historic records, nothing of things to come, simply things that are and have been. Is that right?
Yes, it's our best artists over the centuries add stories of note and instances of great importance to the clan across these as a living record and memorial as to our survival and our history. Admittedly, the farther up the piece is, the less familiar we become with what it entailed, aside from simply observations about the subject matter. Some things become hazy in time, even when captured by the greatest artists that you can get.
Of course.
That's just how memory works, though.
While we are here, though, Aurora, would it be too much of an imposition to ask to ask of some sort of record of what we do still have left.
You want me to like paint a tapestry in its place?
Not necessarily in its place, but at the very least, I suppose if any learned lessons can be brought from this, one of them ought to be that as hallowed as traditions can be, we must have some other manners of fallback as well. We cannot simply live on tradition alone.
Right. I can. I'll do my best. If that would help to honor all of you. I've studied a decent bit of goblinoid art, but, you know.
And I weaving, so I'm sure if there's anything in which you lack between myself and the weavers that have been and yet remain here, something can be come to terms with to understand better.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. I can at least sort of write or at least draw a mock-up of the tapestry. And then your artist can get real with weaving.
Anything I can do to help?
Not. Now, I don't know too terribly much, and she turns to Slay, but I know at least this. Your golden scars, those are important, right?
It's a symbol that things that can be harmed and broken can still be beautiful and remade.
Yeah. When we get back to the hotel, or whenever we get some downtime, I suppose, would you mind telling me more about what that means to your culture? So that way I can best embody it?
Sure. I mean, I think any of these other
No,
goblins, I'm sure, would be better to.
but you embody it all over you. I want that.
He just nods. All right. I'll do what I can.
Yeah. I'm sure your dad taught you real well.
Just nods again.
Was your father the goblin in your family? Dai-yen looks up at you.
That's right. That's right, sir.
Kind of nods and goes, taps you on the arm as he goes. He raised you well. Your clan would be very proud of what you've accomplished.
Thank you, Dai-yen. That means probably a good bit more than you realize.
Kind of smiles and looks at all of you and goes, I imagine you're all quite tired after everything. Your assistance has been invaluable, and I think that we could at least handle some of the grunt labor for now. If you'd like to retire for a bit, we can prepare some compensation for you as a simple, humble showing of our thanks for the sacrifices you've been able to endure for our community, and we are forever in your debt for the capture of those agents. This will give us a great deal of material to work with, and I would feel disgraced if I did not give you appropriate recompense for that.
There is one other thing I would like to speak with you on, but it is not so much a personal matter, I suppose, as much as it is a question of potential guidance that I feel can wait for the time being.
Of course, if you would like some time to rest and clean up, I would be happy to discuss whatever matters that may be weighing on your mind with you. It's the least I can do at this point.
What will happen to the people we gave you?
Well, they will be thoroughly interrogated as we learn what we can and build our case, as we have to communicate with the various lawyers and reporters that we are familiar with, and begin spreading the whisper game throughout the city. But ultimately, their fates are subject to a greater extent by the concerns of the coronal houses than they are us. While they have inflicted great tragedy on our community, they do not serve much good for us in a state of unlife, so we will keep them alive as they build our case. But once our case is done, I know that there will likely be people who are willing to take actions into their own hands, but that is not an action by the clan's leadership. However, I understand the coronal houses will not take kindly to their failure. And there's one thing the houses are known for. It is certainly not their sense of mercy or forgiveness.
If they asked for help, would you help them? They did do awful things, but I get the feeling the houses would do even worse things.
He kind of grips his cane a little tightly, and you can notice that, he's got a bit more of a shaking to him as he looks up at Nafisa and says, "Miss Nafisa, I understand that you and several of your friends are not a member of our clan or affiliated with our people. You have done great things for us, but I would be placed in a difficult decision if I was requested to aid outside members in protection after the harm they inflicted upon us."
I understand.
And he's like about to say, he just goes, and he kind of nods and goes, "I'm sorry if things are done differently where you come from, but It is ultimately their fates lie with their own people, and they will find little sympathy amongst ours.
It's just they mentioned having children, and that's all. I apologize.
He kind of just pats you on the leg and just says, "You should get some rest, child. I understand that much is weighing heavily on you, and this is less than an ideal circumstance to deal with it."
Thank you. Good to go.
Okay. So you all can be dismissed to go like rest up, eat something, clean up a bit if you want, and then you are welcome to start various discussions. I'm just going to do a quick vibe check on everybody. How is everybody feeling? How is Aurora feeling after everything that just happened?
It's very complex. Aurora is very much a person that's like all about social justice, but has really very rarely actually done good work with her own hands. To actually aid the causes, mostly just attempting to draw the things and try and get it in front of people for awareness and exposure. So having this moment where she truly was helping some of those people, essentially, feeling kind of good about that, but just overall kind of she's all over the place in emotions.
As most life and death situations lead people to be. Nafisa, how does Nafisa feel after all of that?
Sif just BRB'd.
Oh, sorry. Then Soleil, how do you feel after all of that?
Soleil, all things considered, is doing all right. I think there's a touch of somberness to it as he's, you know, experiencing all of this firsthand because, of course, he's heard, stories from his father about, the decimation of his village. And stories are stories, history is history, but it's another thing to kind of see it play out in real time. And so, even though it's of course tragic that something has happened, I think a part of him still feels very good that he could be here to help turn the tide of the battle, so to speak.
Gotcha. And how does Feng feel right now?
I I think she's similarly feeling uh, a little conflicted. On the one hand, this is definitely the most connected and like I hesitate to say worthwhile, but the most she's felt positively involved in her extended clan in a while, and I think that is a net positive, but definitely also a sense of kind of irony that it took her going across the entire ocean into a different continent to feel more connected with the clan that she grew up with. I think, though, that she's she's also she's almost wondering if this might be a way to put some things to a bit more of a test, because I think despite her performance, I don't think that she really wants to see people needlessly die, regardless of affiliation. And especially the talk about it being limited in terms of what the clan can do to help because they are not of the clan is got her thinking about that again.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah.
I guess the one follow up to that is this is probably the closest to one of your radio plays you've actually lived. And how does you feel reconciling those two things? Like, this is the stories of revolution she has been fantasizing about since her injury. And once she got to see it in action, what does she feel about that?
I think this has been kind of a little affirming. Like, I think that she's the kind of person that, especially as her training has gone on, she's tried to re-envision frustrations and obstacles as this is something that I know I am on a correct path for myself because it is a hard path. It's hard to do things that aren't just going to be done for the sake of pleasing and being the best she can for her clan, you know? It's been hard doing that, and I think there's a sort of reassurance and comfort in feeling that sense of struggle. It is difficult, but it contextualizes the difficult.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. How's Nafisa feel after everything that's happened and the talking with the Dai-yen?
She is. I've thought a lot about the things that she would say in dialogue, but I'm not sure how to put her feelings into words. I think the best way that I would sum her up is that she is frustrated with herself at the moment. We did what we were supposed to do, and people got to keep their homes, but people died, either from us or from other conflicts at this moment, and people will suffer still despite what good we tried to do, and she's frustrated that she cannot do more.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, and as you guys head back to your hotel, you guys are very exhausted. I presume you're gonna take a nap, have some food, and just decompress a bit.
Honk shoe, baby.
Honk shoe.
Honk shoe on that thing.
Okay. You guys wake up, and it's like early evening. The sun's beginning to set, kind of thing, just because. You basically finished up around sunrise, and you were passed the fuck out, and you can head back to the penumbra if you are so inclined. I know specifically there will be stuff there for Soleil and for Feng. And I think Aurora wants to study stuff. So does Nafisa wish to go back to the penumbra with everyone, or is she going to do something else?
I'm sorry, I was cut out there. Nafisa wish to what or
to go basically to the goblin place with everyone.
Yeah, Nafisa would go. She doesn't have any specific goals at the moment. I think she wants to see Shari after everything's taken care of,
Okay.
but
Okay. All right. So you guys head back. Things are looking a lot better. Head to the clan hall, and the Dai-yen will be there with his war council of the Xinyan and Shuyan, and he kind of looks up at all of you and says, "Well, I know that there are many questions that points to discuss that you all wish, but I've been working with some of the other uh, clan representatives, and we wanted to give you this." And he gestures to Zoli, who is the Xinyan bugbear girl, and she walks forward, and um, she's got basically a briefcase of cash to give you guys. um, and it's all in Celastes, so you can always convert it at a Helios Aurum bank into credits, or you can just keep it as Celasti while you're here. But there's, big red, yellow, and orange, like dollar bills that have like the sun and the eight-pointed sun and spread wings symbol of the Solari Empire on them, and each color seems to indicate like a denomination kind of thing. And they have briefcases. You look quickly over it. It's probably about 300 Celasti each. And he says, "I'm sorry that we can't give you more. We will already be expending a great deal in the rebuilding effort, but we did not want your efforts to be unrequited." So if you could please take this as a humble attempt for us to bridge the gap in the debt that we owe you, it would mean a great deal to our clan.
so is that 300 for the whole group?
No, it's 300 each for the whole group.
Okay, gotcha. And okay. We didn't do this for the money. We didn't ask about this at first. We'll graciously accept, but if you wish to help in any way, my sister Charlotte, who does work here, if it was her treehouse being burnt down that spurred us to help, so if she could be looked out a bit more here, I would appreciate it.
Of course, we will do what we can as in thanks. We also wanted to tell you that we will be adding you to our story. I have assigned artists to begin the process of creating your addition to our clan's history. And I know that some of you do not share the same cultural background, but I wish to assure you that this is one of the greatest honors that we could bestow upon you. You will always be with us as a part of our clan's legacy.
That's a high honor, Dai-yen. We should be thanking you.
Kind of does a little smile and goes, "Well, you haven't seen the picture yet, so I think you should hold off thanks until the final results are done." That is all we can truly offer at this point, but just know that we are all deeply appreciative of you. And you hear his knees pop as he and the other two clan representatives kind of bow before you guys. And he's struggling. He's real leaning on that cane forward as his knees are popping as he bows.
Well, I assure you that between this gesturing towards the briefcase and the art, it's more than enough. If you think there's still a debt, I promise you it's been long repaid.
You are a good child, my dear, and I appreciate the sentiment. Feng-chen, I believe you wish to discuss something with me. I don't know if you wish to do it in front of everyone or if you wish to meet in my office.
I think for the time being, the office would be more than sufficient.
Of course. Once again, thank all of you, and you are friends of Clan Wong-Zuhai, and you will always be welcome here in this part of the penumbra. As he then begins shuffling over to the stairs where Zoli will pick him up and help him up the stairs to get to his office. It's not real handicap accessible here. So the rest of you guys can be dismissed to go do your various tasks as we jump to Feng and the Dai-yen speaking as he sits down in his office. What is it that you would like to tell me?
Well, while I am still more than happy to do my duty to the clan, I want to be clear in it that I fear I may have some doubts or concerns about clans as a whole that I wished to seek counsel on.
Awfully lofty thoughts to be considered. What could I counsel you on?
Well, I have by Clan Wong Avalon's estimation, I am an automotive engineer, and while I served to the best of my ability in that function, I ultimately brought a near ruin to my clan's reputation, to my personal honor, and most significantly, my own near death due to trying to perform in such role. I owe a great deal of thanks and debt to a man who I feel saved my life in both a literal and a more metaphorical way. And said man is unfortunately outcast from his own clan, and of course will not be welcome as an ancestor to his own people. Why is it that we seek to benefit and honor our own clan when there are so many of those that could be helped? Why do we seek to limit, even within our clan, our own happiness by deciding through higher powers what someone's path should be? Is there truly something as intrinsic to the clan as we ought to give the lives and well-being of those directly connected to us so much more value and duty than the value of any sapient being? While I am truly, truly honored and consider myself blessed by what you have already done and offered for mine and my party's work, I worry that I bring the gesture some disrespect by my own questioning of that which we were trying to best support and save.
Well, that's quite the question. I admittedly am not a philosopher. I'm simply the elected leader of this clan. But I am, I would say, a bit intrigued that wayward daughter would have such deep concerns as to the fundamental nature of what it means to be goblinoid. You ask why we do this, why our clans exist the way they are, why we think on scales larger than simply the individual, and admittedly, I can only provide so much elucidation. Many things in life are accepted as tradition, and when you see the fruits of their labor over centuries, you intrinsically accept that they are things of merit and value. We at our core, we're family. That is what a clan really is. It's family. And family is the one thing in this world that you can hope would never betray you or turn on you. And family is the one thing you can always turn to in times of dire need or persecution. We create these organizations to protect ourselves from a world that far too often is proven to be a hostile place for us. Clans exist so that we can survive. We find ourselves in a world where we have seen firsthand what happens when those in power find the desire to flex that power upon us, and our inability to be able to provide a response to it in turn could be disastrous. We exist in a way because survival is the primary concern of not just our clan, but our species. From the days of the destruction of the Ro-Yen-Ro, the desolation of our homeland at the hands of tyrants and outsiders, we've seen what will happen when there's no one left to rely on. And it is only through the family units, the clans that we have built over our lifetimes, that we still exist today, despite the best efforts of people in this world who are not like us. We are scattered across this world in our own diaspora, trying to survive, trying to thrive. And in the back of every Dai-yen, no matter what nation, city, or continent they may find themselves in, is the concern of, will something like Ryuji and the Desolation happen again? Will it happen here? What can we do to stop it? That is why our clans prize ourselves so highly. That is why we seek to protect ourselves. That's why we seek to place the needs of our community over that of the others that surround us. We, at our core, worry for what will happen next. We just have children be taught in a communal sense, outside of necessarily the possession of their parents and families in the way that others may do such, because it is important that every child know that they are a part of something greater, that their family is not just those who birthed them, adopted them, or are blood related to them, but rather it is an entire community. And as much as the community is there to protect, serve, and ensure their survival in turn, they must do the same. That is the social construct and contract that keeps us going. People's careers are decided at such formative years based on egalitarian and meritocratic means. It is ultimately the decision that a child, we assess their aptitude as well as the needs of the community. There is never a desire to place someone in a position where they will not be successful in, nor that they will grow to resent. That's not the intent. However, it can be invaluable to be given such opportunities, as well as ensuring that the clan's continued survival in its area is achieved as well. I was selected to be Dai-yen after the death of the previous Dai-yen. I was elected to this position. Beforehand, I had served as a local councilman in the region, providing representation from at least Clan Wong-Zuhai in the penumbra to some of the choral houses, as well as other interested parties that form the factional tapestry of our city. The community decided that I would best be served in this role, as I in turn was selected to be best served leading the community in the days to come. I do not resent any of these decisions. The community determined it would be best for everyone involved, and I have subsequently, in my humble opinion, thrived in such positions. But it perhaps is a different world across the seas in your own country and region. It is perhaps a different place with different concerns, and perhaps a kinder place than the one we find ourselves in. Perhaps that has shaped your particular concerns, for when you do not need to worry about the very survival of your community on a micro scale, it can seem petty or divorced from logic as to why the community acts in such a way. But I assure you, in places like this, keeping the clan together, keeping the clan in harmony, and ensuring that everyone provides their cog of achievement in the overall machine of the clan is intrinsic to our survival. I often wonder if the hobgoblin and bugbear members of any given clan understand the core psychology of what makes up most of a clan. For we are goblins. The goblins are the mainstay in the majority of every clan. It is the virtue of our particular nature that we exist in the greatest abundance, and to the world a simple single goblin is a weak and unthreatening thing. Goblin is simply a small, weak creature that can be defeated with the barest amount of effort by others. And through this lens, we see the world as a large and frightening place that we are powerless on our own to be able to thwart or succeed in. But while one goblin may be an unassuming and unthreatening thing, goblins in number working together and working in concert, that is something that will give others pause. That is the fundamental nature of a clan. It is a family that achieves more together than it could ever possibly achieve on its own. And for that, we have been able to thrive for all these centuries. I do not know the specifics of Clan Wong and Avalon, and where you and Can Win, where you reside, but I know that from my experiences here in the Empire and from talking to others throughout Zhuhai and throughout the Empire that we share a similar understanding. I'm unsure if that provides any insight that you may not have necessarily considered before or not.
I think it does. Again, uh, I apologize if my earnest curiosity comes across as impudence, but how do we define strictly what a clan is then? Of course, I understand it is something one can be born into. It is something that is fundamental to the experience of goblins and goblinoids. But so too, it can be something you are brought into through engagement or adopted into. So if we choose to bind ourselves to others, at what point does the strictness of where and how we are born, how we define the us and the them, fall apart?
It is a complex question. We have many nuances to what makes us who we are. While most are, of course, goblinoids from the same families, there are those who are brought in through other means. And The only universality about it that I can identify is simply that they are family. They are they have chosen to bind themselves to their community, to their blood kin, and to those who share the same cultural fabric. They have chosen to agree to this, and in turn, they are accepted as such. It can be quite subjective when you explain it the way that you have as to what truly makes a clan. And I'm but one simple old Dai-yen. At most I can tell you is that the only thing that it truly has in common is that it is family, and that all those in that family have agreed to be a part of it and to uphold it, and in turn to protect each other. I have grown up in this world as my father and mother and everything down the line, back to when the first settlers arrived on this world. And I can simply say that the one commonality is that we have been a family every step of the way. And that is the world I know and how I understand the world to be. Does that provide any clarity? I often find myself now to be considering my view of the world a bit of a rambling mess.
No, that is quite all right. I also have been told I'm someone who perhaps talks more than is strictly necessary, or more than I myself can think in pace with. But I think I understand. So
Well,
if one were to do this, to affect this, it would have to be on a larger scale.
gotta adjust his glasses a bit and thinks for a moment and goes, I feel as if you would be simply trying to turn back the ocean with nothing more than a metal bucket and a grim determination. I could not even conceive of the idea of reshaping what it means to be a family. But I find that likely very few goblinoids would. The closest thing that existed to something greater was the Royan Row. That hasn't existed for 5 centuries. While many of our clans work together as much as they can, at the end of the day, most families find their interests to be rather insular things by comparison. The world can be a very dangerous place, and while the Royan Row is gone, and all you really have to bind you at that point is your family. And the countries and places we find ourselves in can prove to be precarious places. And when it comes down to it, you have to decide which is more important: protecting your family or risking everything for someone else's. And I think the more often than not result that has been reached is to, of course, consider those closest to you first. I could not conceive of trying to make a world where that wouldn't be the case. But perhaps that is the jurisdiction of the young and the reckless, and perhaps your more metropolitan among us will be able to create a world where such things will be considered laughably old-fashioned. But I know in the last 500 years at least that such a person and such a world has not come into existence. So I'm sorry if it's a rather inadequate estimation of potential action, but it's all I can really provide in simply the realm of theory and conjecture.
Well, I feel you may sell yourself short. You are more than adequate in aiding my understanding of this, and for this I thank you. I suppose if I am already young and reckless, then I simply must find a way to broaden at least my own conception of clan. Perhaps something more large scale myself. Thank you.
As as the Dai-yen kind of smiles at this, he stands up and kind of hobbles over to you and just puts a hand on your arm and says, "Well, regardless of where you find yourself in the world, and regardless of what you try to reshape, know that there is merit to what we have done and what we continue to do. For you do have a family, and you will have a family that will always protect you and who will always want to see you succeed. And they exist here as they exist in your homeland, and perhaps even farther abroad. You, Miss Feng-chen, are a part of a greater whole, and that whole wishes nothing more than to see you succeed."
Thank you.
And with that, we can conclude